So I picked up the R1 right before Christmas. I was looking to get myself a Christmas gift. I had the R3. I had the R3 for a while. I worked with it. I shot a couple of basketball games with it. And I was feeling like I was missing something. And obviously the R1 was out and the price difference was a little bit different, but it wasn't that big of a jump for me to take a look and say, okay, well, I'll get the R1 instead of the R3. The R1's gonna have a little better focusing, a little more technology. It's gonna be quicker as a camera. So needless to say, I went and picked up the R1. I've been shooting with it for about a month and a half now. And let me tell you, I'm completely blown away by this camera. This is not a review. This is just a very quick kind of opinion on how this camera has performed over the last 30 days. And I can tell you, it has been outstanding. From the autofocus to the image quality that comes off of this thing. And I've been surprised by the video quality that comes off of it too. Obviously, it's a 6K sensor, and if you shoot in RAW, you can really get some really good images. And I've been blown away by the images that I've been able to get off, not only from a photography standpoint, but also from a video perspective. And the technology is pretty nice. I mean, somewhat gimmicky. I will tell you that the eye autofocus may be a little bit gimmicky. It's not always as accurate as I would like it to be. Calibrate that thing so it'll work a little bit more efficiently. But that being pushed aside, the rest of this camera is just quite outstanding. You can do some things in camera that you can't do in some of the other Canon cameras for, like, upscaling images and things of that nature. And I don't feel the need to do much of that because I can upscale it in Lightroom or in some of the other software that I have on my computer. I can tell you this though, my M1 Mac doesn't handle it as good as my M4 Mac Mini from a footage standpoint, especially when you're using the 6K, the raw footage that comes out of the camera. But let me tell you, image quality outstanding, video quality darn good, and the technology just works. And whether you're transferring footage directly from the camera onto your phone, the ability to do that fairly quickly. When you pair this camera up with RF glass, I've been shooting most of this stuff on the 15-35 f2.8 and the 70-200 f2.8. Those pieces of glass in comparison, in combination with this camera, just outstanding. I've shot a number of different basketball games with this, sports events, as well as some just imagery outside downtown Chicago. I usually shoot mostly documentaries and sports activities. So I needed something that was going to be quick, flexible, and easy. I've got a number of cinema cameras that I use for my documentaries, but if I wanted to do some cut and pasting and do some real, taking some of the footage from my cinema cameras and pairing it with one of my, mirrorless cameras, I thought this was a good choice. And let me tell you, very, very pleased. Over the next 30 days, I'll put together a formal kind of review on what I think about this camera. But for right now, just an opinion. I'll have you an opportunity to take a look at some of I've just been having an opportunity to take a look at some of the footage that I've shot off of this camera. Very, very impressed, and I would highly recommend it. Again, if you're in that space, and if you're looking for a camera of this magnitude, then certainly I wouldn't hesitate. But it's not necessarily for everyone, right? You don't need a $6,000 camera to get good images and a good video. I just happened to be in that space. I was happy to look to upgrade. It was Christmas, I let my emotions get the best of me, and I went out and got the camera that I wanted. So if you ask me, the R1 is it may not be the perfect flagship, but it is a flagship. It's better than the R3. Is it marginally better? You got some guys out there who've measured that, and it's probably not this leaps and bounds. But I think if you look at the iteration of this particular camera in relation to some of the other flagship cameras, I really like what it can do. It's functioned very effectively for me, very efficiently, and I'm pleased, more than pleased, with the image quality that I get off of this camera and the image stabilization that you have in this camera too. It's pretty darn good. So all things considered, is it worth it? From my perspective, yes. Maybe from somebody else's, they say, hey, listen, I don't need to go get the flagship to get a good camera. The R6 Mark II, the Canon R5 Mark II, or the R5, or the Canon R5C, they're all fabulous cameras. And as you can probably tell, I'm a Canon guy. But from my bang for the buck, I love this R1. And I will be talking about a little bit more further in more detail as the months go on, as I get more images off of them. I work on more projects with this particular camera. So, hey, it's cold in Chicago this weekend, so stay warm, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Peace.